Hello dear students, as we are doing chapter number 3, today we are going to study the fourth part of the lecture series. In the last lecture we have discussed about series and parallel combination of resistances, and today CBSE has released its reduced syllabus for the session 2020-21. I have sent the links, I have sent the syllabus also, and just go through the syllabus. Now very few things are there in this chapter, so let us go them one by one. Okay. Now series parallel combination, not very tough questions are going to be asked. Only a kind of reminder has to be given what you have studied in class 10th. So that we have done completely, otherwise we have solved some more numericals. Today we are going to study a very important topic, and that topic is Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's law. Okay. Kirchhoff's law is something which is used to solve, a given electrical circuit. By Kirchhoff's law we can calculate potential difference. By Kirchhoff's law we can calculate electric current flowing in the circuit. By Kirchhoff's law we can calculate an unknown resistance. So basically we use Kirchhoff's law to simplify the circuit, to know the value of equivalent resistance, to know the value of electric current, to know the value of potential drop across a resistor, or to know the value of potential difference between 2 points in the given circuit. Okay, so basically Kirchhoff's law, there are two parts of it. Let us do the first one. First one is called junction law. It is called junction law. What is a junction? What is the junction? As we were doing, I have told you already. Like suppose if this is a circuit given, one resistance over here, one resistance over here, one resistance over here, one resistance over here, and one resistance over here. Suppose a question is given like this. Okay. So how many junctions are there in the circuit? How many junctions are there? Suppose let me point also so that you can tell me. Suppose this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, this is E, and this is F. How many junctions are there? Is A junction? No, it is not. While simply taking a turn over here, it is not a junction. B is a junction? Yes, it is, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wires connecting over here. When more than 2 wires are connected somewhere, then what we say, it is a junction. Is it a junction? No, because only one turn is there, only 2 wires are connected like this. Okay, a simple wire is going. Is it a junction? D? Yes it is. E? Yes it is. F? No, it is not. Is it clear? If there is a structure like this, okay, minimum 3 weights should be there. From point, if you want to move along the wire, the minimum number of paths possible should be 3. 1, 2, 3 minimum. If only 2 paths are possible at a point, if only 2 path is possible along the wire, then it is not a junction. Minimum 3, maximum so many can be. Okay, so many can be. No problem. So first of all, we need to identify the junction. I hope you are able to identify the junction now. Now, just see. This is the junction, this is not. At junction, what happens? Some currents will come towards the junction and some current will go away from the junction. The current which is coming towards the junction, if that current is considered to be positive and the current which is going out is considered to be negative, then what junction law says? Let me make a diagram also so that we can understand. Suppose it is a junction. Okay, from the junction, if you want to move along the wire, we have 5 different paths. Suppose from this a current is going out, it is I1, it is I2. In this wire the current is towards I3, current is towards the junction I4, current is towards the junction I5. Okay, So if the outgoing current, the current which is going out from the junction, if it is considered to be positive, and the current which is going towards the junction, okay, in other words you can say the incoming current for the junction, if it is considered to be negative, so what we can say, either you can consider this positive, these negatives, or you can consider these negative, these positive, it will not make a difference. So what according to the junction law is, junction law says that the total change in current, the total change in current at any junction is 0. The total change in current at any junction is 0. It simply means that it says that sigma delta I is equal to 0. What a delta I is? Suppose three currents are incoming, which is I3 plus I4 plus I5. If these are considered as positive, minus the outgoing currents are I1 and I2. So this will be the change in current, and this should be equal to 0 according to the junction law. Now what happens? This I1 and I2 can be transferred over that side. So what we are going to have? We are going to have I3 plus I4 plus I5 is equal to I1 plus I2. So basically in this you can see that I3, I4 and I5, they are incoming currents, and I1 and I2, they are outgoing currents. So in simple words, if you want me to tell, in simple words, total incoming current is equal to total outgoing current. Here I have written total outgoing current is equal to total incoming current. Okay. On which conservation law it is based? So it is based on law of conservation of charge. Law of conservation of charge. Okay, it is based on law of conservation of charge. The total charge which is coming towards the junction per unit time will be equal to total charge going out from the junction per unit time. So basically current will be same. The total amount of charges remain conserved. So this is what the this junction law is. Okay, how this junction law is being applied, let us see that also. Suppose we have been given a junction. What we have been told that a current I1 is coming from here, I2 is going from here, then what amount of current will go from this point? What amount of current will go from this point? Total current was coming I1. Out of I1, I2 goes out from the junction. This is also goes out. So how much current we are left with? We are left with I1 minus I2. Total current, what was coming, it was I1. The I2 is going out, and this sign is given, means this also the current is going out. The sum of these and this must be equal to I1. Total outgoing current must be equal to total incoming current. So I2 and I2 will be cancelled out. We are going to have I1. The same question can be asked like this. I2 is going this side, I1 is coming this side. What is the amount of current which is coming towards the junction? Okay, the answer will be now. Just guess what should be the answer. Now this I1 is incoming, I2 is outgoing, this is also incoming. Total incoming current must be equal to total outgoing current. So I1 is coming from this side, so this current must be what? I2 minus I1. Just add these two. What you are going to have? Total incoming current must be equal to total outgoing current, that is your I2. Okay, so this is how we solve the junction law. So this is how junction law is used. Now let us move towards the second law, which is very important, and that law is, this is also important, okay, and that law is loop law. Okay, that law is loop law. But before studying that law, I want you to understand how to write potential difference across a resistor. Okay. Suppose a resistor is there, which is given as R. This point is A, this point is B, and a current is flowing through the resistance, that is your I. So what is the potential difference between A and B? If you write VA minus VB, VA minus VB, so basically this is your final point and this is your initial point. Final minus initial you have to write, right? Final minus initial. So this is your final, this is your initial. So this point is final and this point is initial. Okay? So you have to move from B to A. You have to move from B to A. The current is going from this side, so current goes always from higher potential to the lower potential. So you have to put plus sign over here and you have to put minus sign over here. Okay, current enters from the resistor, just put plus sign over there and minus sign at the other side from the end to which from which the current is going out. Okay, now you have to write VA minus VB. So you have to move from B to A. You are moving from minus sign to plus sign. You must write plus IR. So this is potential difference VA minus VB. Okay, but if you write VB minus VA, VB minus VA, this is your final, this is your initial, means you have to move from A to B. In this situation, you are moving from B to A. You are moving from B to A. Now in this situation, you are moving from A to B because VB is your final, VA is your initial. So you are moving from A to B. You are moving from A to B. Now you are writing VB minus VA. A to B, just go from A to B. From plus you are going negative. From plus you are going negative. So you are decreasing your potential. From plus you are going negative. Basically you are decreasing your potential. What you are going to write? Minus IR. Are you able to understand? Let me repeat once again. From B to A if you go, then you are going from minus to plus. So you have to write plus IR. From A to B if you go, then you have to write minus IR because you are going from plus to the negative. Is it clear? Same goes with the cell also. Suppose a cell is there. This is your plus, this is your minus. For cell it is clear. This point is A, this point is B. Okay? Now if you go from B to A, B to A, from here till here, so you are from negative to you are going positive. So basically if you write VA minus VB, VA minus VB, then you have to write plus V. This is the potential difference between point B and point A. But if you write, if you go from A to B, so this is your final, this is your initial, B is your final, A is your initial, then you have to write VB minus VA. Okay? And it will be equal to what? Minus V. Why is it so? Because when you go from A to B, then from plus you are going negative. From plus you are going negative, and that is why it is negative. Sometimes we have been given the combination of both cell as well as the resistance. Okay. Now suppose the current is going in this direction, the current is I. This cell is B, this resistance is R. This point is A, this point is B. Suppose we are moving from B to A, then we write VA minus VB, final minus initial, right? Now, current is entering in the resistance from this point to this is positive, going out from the resistance from this point to this is negative. Now, VA minus will be given as, we are moving from B to A, we are moving from plus to minus, we are moving from plus to minus. What we should write? Minus IR. Because from plus to minus we are moving. And then for cell we are moving minus to plus. What we should write? Plus V. So this is the potential difference between point B and A. Basically we are writing VA minus VB. So this is how we write the potential difference. Okay, this is how we write the potential difference between 2 points. Okay, now what is Kirchhoff's second law, which is called Loop's law, is all about. We are talking about now Loop's law. What is Loop's law? It is basically about a loop. It is basically about a loop. Suppose this is a cell. Okay? This is a resistance. Another resistance. So this is a closed path. Okay? This is a closed path. So this is called a loop. This is not a loop. This is not a loop because no closed path is there. Okay? But this is a closed path. This is called loop. Now in loop law, what Kirchhoff's second law, loop law says, it says that the total potential difference across a closed loop is zero. That is sigma delta V is equal to 0. The total potential difference across a closed loop is 0. Why is it so? Suppose from B we are starting, and after going through a number of resistances, cell, everything, we finally again reach to B. What it should write? We are moving B to B, VB minus VB. What it will be? 0. What it will be? 0. So this is what the Loop's law says. Loop law says that the total potential difference across a closed loop is 0. The total potential, the change in potential you can say. Okay, let us write the total change in potential. Change in potential across a closed loop is 0. Okay, let us apply so that you can understand. Let me give you an example for this so that you can understand how a loop law is applied. Okay? Suppose a circuit is given like this. I am drawing over here. The circuit is like this. Okay? This is the voltage V1, the resistance is R1, voltage V2, resistance R2, resistance R3. Okay? We have to use junction law also. Let us define the point. This point is A, this point is B, this point is C, this point is D, this point is E, this point is F. Okay? Now we have to apply Kirchhoff's loop law over here. How we can apply? So what we do? Suppose we start taking a current from this cell as I1. So I1 current goes from here. From this cell, let the current be I2. I2 coming from over here. Now these two current at this junction, they combine to each other. What the current will be flowing through FE? It will be I1 plus I2. Now I1 plus I2 passes through R3, and again at this junction they get separated from each other. Now a key point. A key point is CF is a branch. In one branch only one current is possible. It should not be like this side of cell is having I2 current and this side of cell has having other value of current. It is not possible. One branch of current, that is a CF, will have one value of current. CF will have one value of current. So I2 we have already assumed. The current which goes in this branch from this junction should be what? I2. And in this branch, C, B, A, F, it is a single branch. We have already assumed I1. So current will go I1. Right? Current will go I1. So this is how the division of current takes place. Now we are going to take loops. Let us see. The first loop we are going to take is loop A, B, C, F, A. A, B, C, F, A. Try to understand. loop A, B, C, F, A. This we every time we mention. Okay. Now before proceeding, let us put plus minus sign. For this cell, this is plus, this is minus. For this cell, this is plus, this is minus. Okay. For this resistance, current is entering from this side, so this is plus, and this side is current is going out, so this is minus. For this resistance, this is plus and this is minus. For this resistance, current is going towards this side. The end through which the current enters, it is plus. The end from which the current is going out, it is minus. Okay, this is how we put plus and minus. Now just go. It is the path A, B, C, F, A to B to C to F to A. A, B, C, F, A. Now start moving from A to B. Start moving from A to B. When we start moving from A to B, what the first thing we encounter with? It is a cell. And what we are going? We are going from plus to minus. We are going from plus to minus. So we are decreasing our potential. From plus n to minus n we are moving. So basically we are decreasing our potential. So what should be written? It should be written minus V1. Okay. Now from minus to plus we are moving. So basically our potential increases. So what we should write? We should write the current which is passing through R1. It is I1. Potential difference across R1 will be I1 R1. And from minus to plus we are moving. So we should write plus I1 R1. Okay. Why we have written plus? Because from A to B we are moving, and from minus to plus we are moving. That's why it is plus, because the potential increases, and according to Ohm's law, the voltage across the resistance is V is equal to IR. So across this resistor the voltage will be I1 R1. Now we have reached to point B. B to C we have nothing. Only a wire is there. Now C to F we are moving. One cell we encounter with, it is a minus to plus we are moving. See, from C to F if we go, then we put minus to plus. So if it is from minus to plus, what we should write? Plus, because potential increases, we should write V2. Okay. Then a resistance is there. From plus to minus we are moving. What sign should be there? Minus. And what we should write the potential difference. What is the current which is passing through R2? It is I2. So what we should write? I2 R2. Now we have reached to the point F. From F to A there is nothing to encounter with. What we should write over here? 0. Okay. So this is the equation. One equation we have got, which is V1, which includes V1, V2, I1 and I2. One more loop can be there. Loop F, C, D, E, F. F, C, D, E, F. Symbolically, to make your understanding more, you can make a sign like this. You can make a sign like this. Okay, we are moving like this, so we can make a sign like this. Now loop F, C, D, E, F. Okay, loop F, C, D, E, F. Let us see. Now we are moving from F to C. We are moving from F to C. For this resistance, we are moving from minus to plus. We are moving from minus to plus. What we should write? Plus. I2, R2. I2, I2. For this voltage, we are moving from plus to minus. What we should write? Minus V2. Now we have reached to the point C. C to D, nothing to encounter with. After D, we have to go E. We are now moving from D to E. We are moving from minus to plus. What we should write? Plus. What is the current passing through this? It is I1 plus I2. So it is I1 plus I2. Out of the bracket R3. Okay. Now from E to F, nothing is there. When we add them, it becomes 0. Okay. When we add them, it becomes 0. Is it clear? Okay. According to some students, one more loop can be possible, and that loop is A, B, D, E, A, the outer one. Okay. So that is also a closed path. So we can apply Loop's law on that also. Let us apply, so that we can understand something new. Okay. Now the loop I am going to apply is A, B, C, D, E, F, A. Okay, F, C, D, E, F. Okay. Now, if from A to B, if we move, what we should write? I have already told you. It should be minus V1 because negative V1 is there. Okay. Now, from this resistance, we should write plus I1 R1 because we are moving minus to plus, so we are increasing. From B to C nothing, C to D nothing, then D to E. What we are going to write? Minus to plus. So we are going to write plus I1 plus I2 outside the bracket R3. The total current is passing I1 plus I2. Now we have reached E, 2F nothing is there, F2A nothing is there, so it will be 0. This is the equation what we got from the entire loop. Okay. So one equation I have written over here, one equation here, one equation here. Now, if this is your equation number 1, this is your equation number 2, so what I am going to do, I am going to add equation number 1 and 2. Just add them. Just see, V2 is positive over here, V2 is positive over here, negative over here. When we add them, it will become 0. I2 is negative over here, I2 is positive over here, it will be also 0. So what are the things we are left with? We are left with minus V1. We are left with plus I1 R1. Now V2 is cancelled, I2 is cancelled, I2 is cancelled, V2 is cancelled, and we are left with plus I1 plus I2 outside the bracket R3 is equal to 0. That is what the equation number 3 is. Okay? When we add equation number 1 and 2, what we get? We get the equation number 3. So basically this outer loop is nothing, it is simply the addition of first loop and second. Okay, this outer loop A, B, D, E, F, A, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, it is nothing, it is simply addition of 1 and 2. So this is what the loop law is. Okay, so just try to understand it more. See the video again and again. It is a very important topic and throughout the chapter it will be used. Okay, so tomorrow I'll take some numericals based on the Kirchhoff's law. Okay, it is pure theoretical. One more thing, very important thing before I forget. This loop law is based on loop law is based on what? It is based on law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. Right? This loop law is based on law of conservation of energy. Basically, cell supplies the energy. Okay? And whatever energy the cell supplies, all the resistance takes energy from that energy also. That energy only. So it simply means that the energy remains constant in the circuit, and that is why we say that loop law is based on conservation of energy. Okay, whatever energy is being given, that energy is being utilized in the resistance. Okay, the loop law is based on conservation of energy. So just go through the video. Okay, once, twice, till the point you did not get the point. Okay. And now, tomorrow I will take some numericals based on the Kirchhoff's law. It is well there in the syllabus. Okay. And it is written simple applications of Kirchhoff's law. So basically, now not very typical questions we are going to take. We are going to take some simple applications. Like Wheatstone bridge, it can be an application. Okay. Some simple numericals are there which is there in the NCERT. We are going to take that also. So this is what the Kirchhoff's law is all about. It is a very important topic. You must go through the topics. Okay, you must go through this topic. Is it clear? So this is all for the day. Thank you.